So I'm blessed. Next story of the day is about Laura Loomer. She's a right-wing journalist. She's Jewish. She's super feisty. Like, she's probably the most feisty person I've ever seen everywhere. She's like a shadow. And it's interesting because her last name is Laura Loomer. Loomer, to loom, means to loom over someone. You know, it's when you're looming, you're standing over them like a shadow. So she literally does what her last name does. Personally, I don't think these things are coincidences. There's a lot of people with names like that. Trump, Flake, Jealous, Loomer, Accost. You know, there's a lot of people whose names literally do what they do. It's crazy. It's God. You know, I don't want to, oh no, all the atheists will leave. It's God's work, and then all the atheists get mad at me, whatever. But it's not a coincidence to me. You could think what you want. So Laura Loomer chained herself to Twitter's headquarters in New York City because she got kicked off of Twitter and Facebook. And I have to say, Laura does a bunch of wild stuff, but here's the problem with Twitter is they always lie and they don't follow their own guidelines. So they kicked her off for a tweet that literally wasn't even bad. Like, she's done a lot of stuff that they could maybe say is harassment. I don't think it is, but they picked something that was like probably one of her chiller tweets. She said, talking about one of the congressmen, the new Muslim congresswoman, she was talking about female genital mutilation. She was talking about Sharia law. She was literally talking about stuff that actually happened to her, like getting banned. That's what Sharia law, if a country operates under there, you don't have the freedoms that you would have in the Western world. That's just how it works, whether you agree with it or not. So she got kicked off of Twitter. They said that she was being hateful. They recently kicked off, I think, CJ Pearson today, a 15-year-old African-American Republican who's super smart, super intelligent, super kind. I've never seen him say a mean thing. He's just like a strong kid, which is the, you know, threat to what they're doing. We're going to talk about it later. They don't want strong people. And also, I think 2 days ago, they kicked off a transgender woman or man because she was arguing or having a discussion with another transgender. So even transgenders can't get any love on Twitter if you go against the Twitter agenda. It's absolutely insane. And I just want to say before I talk about what Laura Loomer's doing today, there's literally 10 accounts. I don't know if they banned them. A week ago, they didn't. Their account name is I hate Niggers. I hate N-words with a hard ER. And they're sitting on Twitter. How is that not hateful? That's like the most hateful thing you could possibly say. You're specifically hating on a certain race or a certain word and just using the most vile word you could think of. And Twitter doesn't care because they don't care about actual hate speech. They just have a bunch of like psychopathic Huffington Post feminist bloggers who change their gender every week, have 15 cats, they hate themselves, probably haven't had a sexual relationship in years. I'm just joking. I know humor is probably going to get out loud soon. I'm trying to make fun of it. But that's probably what their staff is. It's like such an echo chamber of far-left extremism. If you're like a normal liberal and you're like, hey, the sky is blue and I like the ocean and maybe there's two genders, maybe they're not. They were like, remove him and send him to the gulags. Like, they're the craziest group of like thought control police. So Laura Loomer, since she got banned for saying pretty much nothing, being a Jewish person who feels a way about Islam, which I don't know, I don't really care, to each their own, you guys could discuss, chained herself, blew up a picture of her tweet and like a Louis Farrakhan tweet, and it's getting weird. Like the Twitter security's like clashing with them. She's making a lot of valid points if you watch her video. Like, she's like, you guys are weird. And it's also strange that she got deleted on Twitter and then she got deleted on Facebook. These companies are working with each other. There's no other explanation, or they're following each other's lead. When Laura Loomer did this, she got deleted on Twitter and then she got deleted on Facebook. Free Thought Project was a central, they didn't like Trump, they didn't like the Democratic Party, they were like a central truther group. They got deleted on Facebook, deleted on Twitter within 24, 48 hours. So it's like, what are these companies doing? It's like thought control. You're deleted. Now you don't exist anymore. When I say something and have an honest opinion on YouTube about certain topics, not only do they rig the algorithm so you can't find my video, but they also include a little Wikipedia link because they're like, just in case you break the brainwashing and tell the truth that Wikipedia is not being as honest about or doesn't want to have a discussion about, then they say, oh, like everything about it's rigged. Like, that you can't just let my video play. It's like, here's what we mean by trilateral commission or global warming. It's like, yeah, we know what you think, but what about what I think? What about, other people's opinions? You could say yours, I could have mine. You could say science, I could ask scientific questions. We could all get along, but they don't allow it. So props and kudos to Laura Loomer for doing something. She's highly effective. I mean, she got Alyssa Milano to condemn Linda Sarsour with the Women's March, because it is a little strange that the Women's March aligns themselves with extremist Muslim ideology. And I'm no disrespect, like I said, I have love for all religions. I don't judge. I have Muslim followers, I have Christian followers, I have atheist followers. It's all love. It's not, as long as you're a good person, I have love for you and I appreciate you. But you know, the Women's March was aligning with some not good people, let's put it that way. Some people that are highly questionable on multiple levels. I don't trust them. Has nothing to do with just their religion, more the content of their character. So Laura Loomer asked, or bum rushed Alyssa Milano, kind of. I think she waited in line that time. Good job, Laura. You actually waited in line. But she got Alyssa Milano to condemn that, because the Women's March is figuring out, they're like, why would we align ourselves with extremist, terrible Muslim people when in extremist Muslim countries they don't treat women well? Everything that the left is doing now is literally like a backwards ideology. It's no disrespect. I don't think the right or the left is perfect, but it's like when you're wrong about literally everything, when you claim you love women, but you align yourself with the people in the world who probably treat women the worst, it doesn't make sense. Like when you say you stand up for women and children, but you ignore human trafficking, child rape, and like statistics that are very real and situations that really happen. Like, do you really love women and children, or are you just saying that and then you're actually hurting women and children? You want to help people in Honduras and Mexico, but then you create a humanitarian crisis in Mexico and ignore your own 10 cities and #1 poverty. It's like, I don't know if it's possible to be this wrong about everything, but it's a product of like mass media manipulation for a long time, cultural Marxism, probably influence from Russia and other governments who ideologically subversed our people into thinking this way, like similar to a dog. If you get people to do a certain thing and follow certain patterns, they'll believe it. And it's hard to uncondition somebody. It's like you ring the bell, you get the food, and then you ring the bell and there's no food, they still think there's food. You can literally brainwash people like animals. I'm not saying everybody, people can break out of it, but I do believe in many ways we've been brainwashed and mentally manipulated past the point of no return for some people, clearly. Hopefully people will return. But Laura Loomer, active outside of Twitter going absolutely insane, banning CJ Pearson, African-American kids, transgender women. Like, I'm only saying this, race and gender doesn't matter to me, but I know they act, the reason they love kids, they love black people, they love transgenders, until it's like a good, like CJ Pearson, put this kid up against any other 15-year-old of any race, any religion, and any gender. I bet you intellectually this kid is really smart. I really like this guy. He's more conservative probably than I am, but he's a really smart kid. Like, put him up against any other kid, he's probably the best of the best, and meanwhile they're banning his thing. It's like they hate the best, they love the worst. They penalize the best, they boost up the worst. This whole ideology is backwards, and it's literally insane. But like I said, I saw a rainbow today, so I'm excited. The next story, we got 2 more. Man, this is a wild day. Thank you guys for staying. Still 1,100 people. Yay, that's a lot. I'm trying to think about that before I start. Like, imagine if everybody was like watching around me. I'm thinking about being in a stadium with 1,100 people. That's wild. We got to do a speaking tour sometime. I'm just in my room by myself right now, but I feel your presence. Not in a creepy way, I just do. The next story is about